developing story on the article written about Johnny Manziel and the mess that was his first year with the Cleveland Browns. Here's a guy who wouldn't know anything about that nonsense. He won a Super Bowl with one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the game, Peyton Manning. He had a great career in the NFL. He's a former Michigan guy, Dustin.
Great player.
Who you played against.
Great player. I was just talking to him off the air. Had a hell of a career at Michigan. Then, of course, played in the league for a little while. Played with Mike Doss, too.
That's right, your buddy.
With the Colts. Won a Super Bowl with him.
And now he's a coach. He's coaching his alma mater, Cato June, with us on the AdventureAutoGroup.com hotline. His high school alma mater. Cato, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
Man, thanks for having me. I'm doing well. I can't complain, man.
Well, are you the head coach of your high school?
I am. I'm the head coach. They call me Coach June.
That's pretty cool. I mean, you're the head coach for your own high school. That's making it right there.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
It's been a nice little journey back home. That's for sure.
We're talking with Cato June. Cato, first of all, I don't know if you've heard anything. What's your take from an outside perspective about everything that happened the first year with Johnny Manziel on and off the field?
I mean, we know he was going to be a little, I don't want to call him a spontaneous type of guy, but you know what you were kind of getting with him. The thing that surprised me more than anything is that they didn't just go with him. I mean, when you draft a quarterback like that, you say, hey, eventually we're going to play him. We want to win now. Maybe this is a better option now. But to me, these days, the way they're throwing quarterbacks in the fire, I was surprised that they just didn't play him off the break.
Yeah, look, it probably would have happened, Cato, but the guy obviously wasn't prepared, and that leads me to my next question, because you play with one of the all-time greats in Peyton Manning. Tell us about his preparation and how much time he put in to his craft.
You know what? He's going to be the most prepared person out there, probably more prepared than some of the coaches. And then that goes to the consistency of the preparation. And I always say, like quarterbacks, and I try to tell the young quarterbacks this, that the quarterback position is one like no other. Like, you have to carry yourself different. Your expectation is slightly higher. It's just a different realm when you're talking about the quarterback position. You just can't do DB things playing quarterback. You just can't do it. It's just not going to be successful over the long term. It's just a different situation. And, as a young quarterback, you kind of have to figure that out. Hopefully most guys figure it out in college that, you have a little more responsibility. You're a little more mature. And, things that you do off the field, you people are always watching just because you are the quarterback, and you have to be cognizant of that.
We're talking with Cato June, a longtime NFL player now, a high school football coach, and he's a Super Bowl champion, of course, with the Colts. Cato, your take on Deflate gates, not inflate. The ball was deflate. I don't know. I didn't play in the NFL like you did, like Dustin did. This seems like the most overblown story in the history of sports. Your take on it?
All I know is somebody's getting fired.
That's right.
Some poor kid that inflates the footballs before the game and has his little job. I don't know. Like, to me, it's just another cloud over, New England's head in terms of them, being labeled cheaters and people that are push the edge and do things. With the whole Spygate thing, which was, to me, a blatant situation. This is more like, you just add this to the fire, and it's actually become more funny than anything with the way people have approached it. But ultimately, there are rules, certain things that, there are certain things that should probably never happen. And my thing is, like, who is the one person to say, hey, I don't think there's enough air in this football? Because I picked up enough footballs in my life, I'm not going to know, hey, this one has 13 PSI, this one has 11. One might be a little more deflated than the other, but, hey, you're not thinking that this is a cheat ball, this is a regulation ball.
It's funny. Troy Aikman yesterday was on a radio station and said he believed this is worse than Bountygate because Bountygate wasn't cheating. It was just a situation where they were, putting a price on, trying to get guys out of the game or whatever, interceptions. Who knows what it is? The point is, there's probably going to be some penalties put down on the Patriots, Tom Brady, Belichick. Who knows who ends up with the penalty, whether it be the team or the individuals. What do you think of comparing the two? Do you think there should be a harsh penalty for cheating in this case?
I mean, I think that there has to be a line drawn when you're talking about the integrity of the game. We have the greatest game in the world, and I think some of the reasons are because we have, certain rules in place, and you don't see people being able to cheat and win, so to speak, in our game. Compared to Bountygate, I have mixed feelings with that just because you're a fool if you think that every locker room or every meeting room, position room doesn't have some sort of incentive-based thing to get their guys going. And that's all that was, in my opinion. Now, if you're talking about, hey, we're going to pay $5,000 for a guy to get hurt, I don't think that was the situation, but I wasn't in New Orleans. I don't know. I just know that, most of the time there are some incentive-based. So to compare the two, the funniest thing about it was, I don't know, when we saw the Belichick conference, he kind of threw Brady under the bus, like, hey, talk to Brady about it. I don't know about no football. It was like he watched this on Brady, and it was, and Brady sitting there stumbling through, like, hey, but it's the truth. Like, the quarterback goes in, he chooses which footballs he wants, and they take him out. Like, he's not putting the air in him himself. So unless there's this big, thing where he had a connection with whoever inflated the footballs and say, hey, I want him at this level, blah, 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 then, it's probably more overblown than anything, but it's still, kind of goes in that cloud of, hey, the Patriots are cheating.
We're talking with Cato June, former NFL player, Super Bowl champ. Cato, let's talk about the Super Bowl. We have spent this entire week talking about deflated balls. We've not talked about the Super Bowl at all, and it's unfortunate because, it's unfortunate.
Deflated balls.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of show is this?
Listen,
this family show. This
is a great game, and it's going to slip away because these are two excellent football teams. I think they're evenly matched. I think the game's a toss-up. Give us your take on this game.
I picked Seattle preseason. I'm going to stay with that pick, but only because I love the way they play on both sides of the football. They're very aggressive defense, very attacking. They play with an edge, with a DB swag. It's kind of, I get those Michigan days back, back in me when I see them flying around, knocking people around. But not only that, but offensively they're physical. They can run the football. That Marshawn Lynch is definitely a problem to deal with. So I've always liked the way they played. So I look forward to seeing them. And it's kind of started. What's the guy that started with Gronk say, I don't think he's that good. I'm not gonna agree with him on that. I think Gronk is great.
Yeah, really.
He definitely creates probably one of the biggest mismatch problems in the game, but it might start a little, something. So maybe we can talk about that versus talking about the football.
Good idea.
Katie, you reference your days running around the secondary back in Michigan. That leads me to my next question. Michigan's been down for a long time, and even as an Ohio State guy, I want the Big Ten to have success. I want Michigan to get back to make the rivalry exciting again. You got to be thrilled to have Jim Harbaugh back at your alma mater.
Absolutely. Jim coming back home has brought a lot of excitement. I think for the past few years, people have been speculating him coming home. And the thing about it I like is that I don't think that I would want to be the guy that if we didn't get Harbaugh, I wouldn't want to be that guy to come in and be the head coach because no one wanted you. And so I'm kind of glad we got our guy. We're starting to, stir things up in the recruiting process. And get some guys to decommit and commit to us. So I look forward to that, getting some guys in to try to compete with the championship and, beat your Buckeyes next year. That would be more rewarding than anything.
Who are you rooting for in the national championship game, Cato?
That's not a fair question. I'm always rooting for the Big Ten in the bowl game.
Look at that.
But I can't go on record and say I was cheering. I knew they were going to win. Like those guys, man, I'll tell you one thing. You can say what you want, but Ohio State has some players. You guys have been, playing physical. And I just knew, people were talking about Alabama. I said, look, you can say what you want. The Big Ten, I won't say Ohio State because I won't go on record being Ohio State lover. I don't want to get kicked out of an offer.
I hear you.
I always represent the Big Ten's going to go down there and beat up on Alabama. Oh, no, they're not. Same thing in Oregon. I just felt like we were, had a more dominant presence. I'm just glad they let him in the thing. They almost
yeah, that's right.
It.
That's right. Cato, great stuff, man. Best of luck. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.